Today we have the last part of the Mr. Robot series, which means if you don't watch it the first, second, or third season, so naturally, you must go and watch it from the beginning before you enter the final season. Today, you will find their link in the first comment or in the description below this video. Go watch them because they are a series enjoyable by all standards. Let's first see what are the latest events we saw last season so we can remember their love together. Things, and God says, and rhyme is like honey. The last thing we saw was my friend trying to stop the second stage with all his might, and started to disrupt after that in the army of darkness. Woe to you and fate. It changes the paths of the charges that were gathering in the building that was supposed to be blown up at this time. Mr. Robot was fighting the robot to continue the second stage. But in the end, his entire attempt failed because of Angela. So he was forced to. He enters the building himself to stop everything. And there is Mr. Robot, who was shocked because he knew that Elliot was changing the entire path of the shipments, and there was no need to blow up this building permanently. He decided to stop the plan with him, but he turned out to be very happy. He was happy because he stopped the plan until he was shocked, and he and Mr. Robot knew that Willick and the Army of Darkness, they were both playing with them, and 71 were blown up during all this talk, a building, not just one building like the plan. It didn't say Atwat and Mr. Robot drove him crazy. But Mr. Robot, he had calculated and carried the keys to return all his data to any company that used these keys and returned all the data. And that's it. We have made a quick summary of the events of last season, and let's continue with the events of the last season. We saw my friend last season, Philip, while he was confessing to Angela that he meant her father. And he also knew her at the same time that White Ross. She manipulates her, exploits her, and wants to kill her. But we did not see what happened after that. My friend, when Angela found out, she broke down crying because White Rose took advantage of her and left her. She also participates in the plan and kills thousands of people. So she asks Philip to help her and make her take revenge on Waitrose. But Philip refuses and asks her that she accepts everything she did and that's it. Meaning Angela knew that she would take revenge on her against her will. She will also ruin her project. Philip started to get nervous and was afraid that she was his daughter, as we know. So he shouted at her and told her that he was trying. He protects her, not from that. And that's why he brought her to live with him here in his palace and told her that if she remained determined to do what was on her mind, he would not be able to protect her and would keep bringing her back a lot so that she would not do anything else. And White Rose would not end in the end, but Angela refuses. So Philip gets upset and leaves her and walks away. As soon as he walks away, 2 members of the Dark Army came to kill her with bullets in a scene that was very shocking to all of us, my friend. What happened made Philip go crazy and he called. At that moment, White Rose immediately shouted at her. White Rose told him, "You did what you had to do." She tried to convince her, but she refused. Philip cried and said, "But this was my daughter, Vautrose," and she hung up the phone on him. After that, I spoke to her new assistant and learned from her that it was over, exactly 2 months. At Christmas in particular, they will be able to obtain the entry permit that he will provide them. And she also told her that she is not, I am, confident in elite fighters, and I know that they will finish it very soon when they move the project. She is completely theirs, and I asked her to monitor him very well during this period. So the assistant told her okay and left her and walked to the other side. We see a person named Freddy sitting drunk, God forbid, in his office, and in the meantime he gets an envelope like this on a phone and a message. He reads this message, is shocked, takes some of it, enters an office, and there the phone rings, so Freddy answers. And we know that the one calling him now is the important thing is that he threatened him and told him that he had conversations and pictures of himself with his wife and asked from him. He opens the link that he sent him to his email. So Freddy is terrified and opens the link as he requested after that. He asks him to take out the flash drive in the envelope, put it in the device, and copy the files written on the paper. So Freddy is afraid to do so. So he says that Lalit is a lawyer and this information is very important and he cannot go outside because if he does that, he, his family, and his office will be destroyed. But Lalit is not, he cares, and asks him to do what is required and closes the road with him. After a while, Freddy gets out and takes a taxi so that he can go to the station and meet Elite in the taxi. We see news talking about the hero, And here is the one who was able to return all the data belonging to I-Corp and remained a major reason for economic recovery after the movement he made. And of course, you and I know that woe to you did not do anything. And I am the one who returned all the data. But that's not our topic now. Currently, Freddy has arrived at the station, and as soon as he enters, the station talks to him on the phone and tells him exactly what to do. And he is standing and looking at him from afar while he is in the form of Mr. Robot. And in the meantime, he notices that 2 members of the Dark Army are watching Freddy. So he is surprised by that and recognizes him. Freddy gets nervous and keeps looking around like the thief, Mr. Robot, asked him to cut off the ticket quickly and go meet him in the train. And indeed, Freddy cut off his ticket and took some. He gets on the train, and as soon as he sees the girl, he takes a gun out of his pocket, lifts it up and threatens to kill him if they don't give him his information. His wife cheated on him, but he wasn't afraid because he knew that Freddy wouldn't be able to shoot him in the middle of the whole train. So he told him, "So put down the gun and sit down, my son. May God guide you." Freddy listens to him against his will and sits down and gives him the flash drive with the files on it. A third person takes them from him. He plays it on the laptop and starts copying these files and seeing the existing photos and contracts. While he is doing this, Freddy asks him who is doing it. They were watching him anyway. So he was shocked and said to him, "Army of Darkness." Freddy was shocked and literally terrified. Very much so. But those who were terrified knew that his client, whose name is Jang, was originally Waitrose. The head of the Army of Darkness is not like that. But they knew that they were using very many fake institutions. They smuggle money out of the country, and he told him that your name appears in all these institutions, meaning that your life is already destroyed without you trying. Freddy is afraid he knows very well that he is going to die, and he advises him to keep these people away. So let him know that he knows everything. This talk completes a completely normal job. And this time it leads to important information, my friend. And he knows that the Army of Darkness owns an entire bank in Cyprus. He asked Freddy if he knew anything about this bank. Freddy told him no, but I know a very good person named John Garson. But I don't have his address. I have to go back to the office so I can remember him and send him to you. At that time, he doesn't have time to reply because he notices the Army of Darkness entering to board the train. So he gathers his things. He walks, and before he walks, he asks Freddy to meet him in the street and wait for the new instructions. And he walks from Sukat. After that, Freddy also runs out of the train and quickly leaves the station. Then calls him and asks him regarding John's address. He insulted and refused to return to the office at all because he felt that he was being monitored. And of course, the Army of Darkness is waiting for him in the office to kill him. So he shouted at him and tried to reassure him. So Freddy asked him how he would protect him from the Army of Darkness. Valley was silent and did not know how to respond. So Freddy Naughty understood that Elite would not be able to protect him. So he cried and took the gun out of his pocket and said, "I wish I had not followed the pictures. The evidence was for my wife." And he closed the track, and moments later he heard the sound of bullets hitting him. So he started running like the madman is there, and he arrived and saw Freddy dead, killing himself and shedding his blood. I wish he would be shocked. But he takes some of it and goes to his company, Old Safe, and there he and Mr. Robot start working to get everything they want. The idea is that they are there because the place has become deserted and no one enters it at all. In addition, the internet is very good, so it works well. The important thing is that it creates a mind map and tries to connect everything, something together. And John adds to this map and tells Mr. Robot that we must meet him and take everything from him. The information we need is that this is their only broker at Cabros Bank. So Mr. Robot told him that we must calm down first and look for a way to penetrate him, and then we will see. But he does not like this because that is it, meaning he is no longer there. There is a lot left, and at the beginning of next week, White Rose will ship her project, and he told him first, "We come. Our goal was to save the world, but now you want to get rid of the Dark Army in order to take revenge on them because they killed Angela. Your feelings are controlling you." At that time, I was upset by these words and told him, if we leave White Rose and those with her, everything will be ruined again. And in the middle of their conversation, Darlene sends a message and tells them that she knew something about Angela. So she says, A robot returns to the apartment and meets Darlene. Darlene tells him that she saw Angela, so Mr. Robot tries to calm her down and let her know that she is shocked, because Angela died, but Dalen was determined that she saw her. So he told her, "You are under the influence drugs," and he approached her like that, shouted at her and said to her, "Angela is dead. Understand? And this is not our fault." We tried to help, but we didn't know how, and she did what was on her mind. So she stopped feeling guilty for a long time. At that time, she was upset by what he said, so she left and walked away. Mr. Robot said to him, "Why didn't you show her a picture of her body that Waitrose sent us?" He got upset and told him, "This will break her heart completely." The idea of my friend Mr. Robot is that someone knows that I feel terribly guilty about Angela's death, and I am upset, very much so. But he tries to manage as much as he can in some way so he can reach the hotel that he lives in it, and currently he and Mr. Robot go together, and the plan will be simple, Dobek, that they will penetrate his network and get everyone out. His information is very easy, but they enter his room and don't find anything, to be honest. Mr. Robot is being searched. Unlike Elite, whoever tells him we are lucky that he is not here, Mr. Robot will start looking for anything useful himself and will notice that the room is deserted. Almost because the dirt is covering the place, he understands that something is wrong with the place, so he goes out and tries to open the door, but he is shocked and finds the door. It's locked, so he knows what's wrong with that, and what's wrong with him is that there's no network at all here, so Mr. Robot. He went crazy and tried to open the window, but the window was closed and would not open at that time. He noticed a book like this among the books. He opened this book. He found a letter written to them saying there is no way out of here. So he understands that all of this is luxurious in the first place. There is no one named John Garcin at all, and Freddie laughed at them and told them the name of the author. The moral of the book is that in the meantime, two people enter a hotel with ease, take out the attic, arrest it, and get out of it. After a while, they return the hotel to its apartment and heat up a dose of heroin. They kill him and put her in an injection and bring her closer to the orphan so that they can inject him with her and get rid of the orphan. He keeps screaming and telling them that he can't die because he hurt a lot of people and he has to correct everything he did first. But all this talk doesn't help. As a result, of course, he tells them, "I know everything about Cyprus Bank and I will expose you, even if your money is destroyed." At that time, the second person who talks to him doesn't care about Nama's words at all. He gets close to Elliot and injects him with heroin injections into his arm and leaves him. He walks. Then his body starts to convulse violently and he sits on the ground, and his life begins literally. He passes in front of him and his eyes close after that. But don't be afraid, my friend. He didn't die because the person who injected him, he came and saved him again and gave him a drug, like this in his nostrils. He turned around and saw Philip standing in front of him. He knew that the one who did this to him was him. Philip is not the army of darkness as he thought. From here, my friend, I would like to tell you the story of Yang and the army. How darkness began after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. The young minister Jiang, the owner of the imagination, the broad work of a new world order entitled the World Economic Forum. And from here, Yang establishing an investment group called Aldios, whose sole goal is to enhance control and domination in global events for profits. And not only that, Jiang started getting closer to important figures and businessmen and so on. And thus he had a hand in several calamities that happened in the world because of the deals he was making. And because of Teos, she had oil and an industrial sector military. And not only that, literally, he remained the first and last controller in the world. And they worked very large and terrible means of espionage. And of course, all Americans joined these means and their social media sites. And all of this happened with their approval. And because of iCorp, it became the largest company and a face for the whole world. And the Deus, and with the iCorp cap device she made was a new way for Deus to control people. And in fact, Jiang didn't stop here. He secretly built a factory under the Washington Township nuclear power plant. And he still does. Literally, a very short time ago, the first and last goal was still achieved, which was joining Congo is for China. So we understand who is Jiang or Waitrose, to be more precise. And who is the army, how darkness began. And by the way, the second one knew all these things from Philip. Because currently Philip is sitting with him in the first summer and saying, Stay lucky, because I was the one who was informed that someone had broken into the apartment in the hotel, and it was supposed to be I was killing you. Phil had asked him why you didn't kill me. Philip didn't answer him and told him your plan wouldn't work. Phil had told him that if he took over what funded White Rose and the Army of Darkness at that time, White Rose would lose everything. So Philip told him it is impossible for you to do that at all, so Mr. Robot spoke and asked him to help them because he, the CEO of I-Corp, certainly knows someone who can answer the account numbers of a group from Cyprus Bank. Philip told him Susan Jacobs later found out that she was the one who had everything, such as withdrawal transactions, deposits, and transfers. And by the way, my friend Susan, this is the lawyer who went astray. I killed her in the second part when I shocked her. If you think so, why Philip asked about her and found where she was. Philip knew that she had disappeared months ago and he didn't know anything about her. Then he regretted it because he didn't. No, I mean, he helped him and then started putting his clothes on him so he could walk because he was not convinced by his plan anyway. Elite Valette tried to provoke him to help him and told him that White Rose killed your daughter, so he was upset, to be honest, and he did not know how to speak. But then he said to him, even if your plan helps you, it is not possible at all. I wish he had told him, just collect everything. The Deus officials are in the same place and I will find Susan. So of course she is crazy because this is a very difficult thing in knowing that he has 8 days. Exactly, and Watros will act. After which she will move the entire project. And after that, she will not need anything from it at all. Something else will kill him. Philip told him, I've been dead since I worked with White Rose. He bit him and walked away. After that, Darlene called Elite and told him that their mother had died because their mother had. By the way, she has been living in a nursing home since their father died. Of course, Valette gets a little upset and takes some of it and goes to his sister's nursing home, and there she gathers. The things that his mother owns are in a box so he can donate them. And the strange thing is that Dalam is not upset at all. As she said, I'm upset because she treated them all badly when they were young. But in general, after they finished, now everyone goes to the station to take the metro. At that time, he was focused on the phone and looking for any information. It belonged to Susan, but Dalen had with her the security accounts paper, meaning her mother. She prefers to talk to the girl and asks him to go with her to see what is in the secretariats. But the girl did not respond to her at all. Barda was focused on the phone, in addition to getting angry, pulling the phone from him, crying to him, and telling him that she wanted him with her all the time, so that he could reassure her. It is difficult for Allet, and he agrees to go with her. In general, after a while, they both arrive at the trust bank, so the employee there shocked them and recognized them. Their mother's safe deposit box no longer exists because the expenses she paid for 2 years ago stopped, and she kept getting shocked and upset with the employee. She sits crying, but he sits next to her and tries to calm her down and takes out the recording he had with him. A recording of when they were children, him, Angela, and Dallin. And they sat and listened to it together at that time. By the way, Philip was going to meet Jang. They knew that he would resign from his position at I-Corp at the beginning of the new year and would join a group that Jang did not like. Finally, he asks Philip to stay as he is until he fully ships his project otherwise. In order for them to find someone in Philip's place first, all the members of the Deus must all gather in one place and agree on a person to be he is in Philip's place. He told him that he was not interested and told him that he was still with him for a week at the beginning of New Year's and left him. Then the anger exploded and he walked to the only one who was attending his mother's death ceremony. So Philip called. He told him that everything had happened and that they had to wait for Jang's reaction to be like Valette. He thanked him and hung up the call with him. At that moment, she intervened and asked him who he was talking to. But he refused. Fadaline tells her that she was upset and knew that she had noticed that he was reading about Susan. So he asked her, "What is your relationship with her?" So she was shocked and told him everything, and that she was the one who broke into her house and used it as her base in Eve's society, like we had never seen her before. And after that, she gave him a big shock and told him that she had killed her. So she literally went crazy. But he controlled his anger and asked her if she tells him everything she knows about Susan, and he tells her that she was working for the Army of Injustice. He wants to know everything about her in order to get rid of Waitrose, preferred to be surprised by this madness and decided that she was going crazy too and asked him. He added it to his plan to make him happy. But he was rejected, but I didn't give him a chance. I took his phone and connected it on her phone. He kept checking on her and knowing where she was all the time. After that, she told him, "So you were acting this way because White Rose, I thought you were preparing something for Vera." So I was very surprised by her and asked her, "What does Vera have to do with the matter?" Fadilin told him, "When I told you months ago that he came to your house, but at that time you did not care about him at all, as if he was a fool." Fled began to think that Mr. Robot was the one who was possessed at the time. As soon as Lynn walked, he began to quarrel with Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot swore to him that this was not what she was talking about, so the question here is not what happened. Who is Mr. Robot Amal? Yes, my friend, may God enlighten you about a third character suddenly like this. It appeared in the lives of those who literally took a part of their lives and appeared, and we do not know what the personality system is. This strange third, which until now, even the one we will know has a name, color, smell, or anything, you feel that the one who distributes characters like this, in general, at this time on the other hand, we see Yang's assistant speaking. He is with him on Freddy, who committed suicide. And you know that the person Freddy was meeting was able to escape after he gave the surveillance system at the station. It draws his attention that this dialogue is very difficult, and it is possible that the one who did this is the only one who ever could disable a system like this. C asked her to monitor the mechanism well, which is strange. He also asked her to carry out Philip's request and set a meeting for a group as he wanted and not. That's it. He decided that the meeting would be on Christmas Day. The assistant was shocked and surprised and told him that if this meeting had happened, Philip would have. He will really imagine which corp, and then he will not find anyone to help him. So Yanka told her we will appoint Wilk in his place, and he also told her to call Wick. I know that he is being appointed in Philip's place by order of Waitrose, although this means that the help she wasn't convinced at all by what she said. But she agreed and left to call your friend on the other side. Ayat went to meet Krista in the street. He started talking to her and told her that he wanted to talk to her and check on her. But Krista shouted at him and told him that she was afraid of him because of the problems, the one who always causes it. Failed was very upset by her words and thanked her, and he was very upset and left her and walked away. The lesson is that during this time, there was a person from Vera who was filming everything that happened between Elite and Krista. He took these things and went to the restaurant Vera, and we know that Vera uses this restaurant as a distribution center for his drugs, and 2 letters, he sells stuffed chicken, but not stuffed with rice. No, stuffed with drugs. He delivers these chickens to the children so that they can distribute it. But after the person who took the pictures of Elite and Krista finishes, he comes and gives him the pictures. Vera asked him what exactly he understood from these pictures. The second one told him that he thought all of this was a waste of time. I didn't like this talk. Vera had one of his distributors see the pictures himself and describe what he saw. The child told him on the night that he was sad because this woman was screaming. Vera took out his weapon and killed the person who took this picture. All because the child knows how to analyze. The picture is not up to him and he finishes it completely. And from here he decides to arrest Krista because he understands everything about the Elite. At the same time, when the Elite left, he went to his sister Darren's house, who was able to identify a girl named Olivia, and found out that Olivia is Susan's broker at Cyprus Bank, and she is the account manager. The only American to the group. Of course, who, without much thought, knew in some way that Olivia will meet today the person she loves or her fiancé. So he decided to go to her house to hack his device and get everyone out. The information he wants is from Cyprus Bank. And he actually takes Mr. Robot and they go there. And as soon as they reach the place, he searches the place for anything that might benefit them. It is an egg, so why a box of narcotic drugs like morphine? Exactly. I understand that Olivia is taking a drug. Then he continued rotating normally until he reached the room. Her key went out. The drawer key came out, her laptop came out, and he started executing his favorite identity through certain codes. I was able to open her device and enter her website. The bank registered her account there by mail and password, but discovered a problem, which was that he was asking him OTP password, which is the variable password, my friend, and this is supposed to mean that it is sold. In fact, every time you try to register the account, You get very upset, and he keeps thinking, and Mr. Robot, what do they do? But in the end, whoever decides to go and meet her himself steals from her the smart flash drive from which he can deliver for the variable password. They both go to the casino where Olivia is currently sitting and waiting, meaning this man is her fiancé. At that moment, they noticed that her suitor had not come to meet her, and she would get up and walk away. Mr. Robot wanted to go talk to her and get to know her. He took the variable password in the text calmly, but the one who was in a hurry told him that Olivia was using drugs, but she stopped so as not to lose custody of her son. So we use this information to our advantage and take the password from it. But Mr. Robot did not like this method and tried to stop him. But he pushed him away and left. He sat next to Olivia and asked her to sit down. Olivia took a long time and asked him what he wanted from here. Mr. Robot sensed that Eli would ruin the world. So he intervened and told her, "I will invite you to not Robert." But Olivia was determined to walk, so Mr. Robot convinced her in this way. And indeed, Olivia sat down for the drink, then asked him what he does here on Christmas Day. So I came in. He kept upset with her and told her that there was nowhere to go because his mother had died, and he was fighting with his sister, Olivia. Honestly, she was upset about the situation of the girl, and she told him that her mother died in Colombia. They started talking, and each one complained and the other cried the next day. We found that Elite was at Olivia's house with the smart flash drive and also took pictures of the changed password and sent it to Darlene. After that, he noticed that Philip had sent him a message informing him that the meeting would be tomorrow at this moment, which he would not be able to make. I had no reaction because Olivia got nervous and quickly took the flash drive in his pocket and told her that he was looking for aspirin because it was cracked, so she started helping him collect the things that he had fallen to the ground. And at that moment she took the box of the drug and knew that Elliot had seen the drug. She used to take it a long time ago, so she told him that she stopped taking it from him and also started telling him about the suffering she caused her father because of the drugs. She told him that she was thinking of killing herself. He told her that he was also going to kill himself, but he didn't. He didn't do that because he made the child realize that they were going to watch a movie. And of course, my friend, the boy is talking here about Trenton's brother. But after all this talk, both of them, they calm Waleed down. He walks from Olivia's apartment, and he and Mr. Robot walk in the street so that they can reach Olsave to complete their work. At that time, he noticed that there was a car watching them from the moment they left the metro station. Mr. Robot told him, "These are the Black Army." I wish he knew. He wouldn't be able to go back to Olsave now. So he said to Mr. Robot, "Let's go back home and act normally." Indeed. They both walk, and after a while they arrive home. And there they are shocked when they find the door of the house broken. So Mr. Roboter, he wanted to let Elite walk from here and not enter. But the one who refused entered the apartment normally. And the surprise was what was wrong with you waiting there? He tells him that White Rose wants to appoint him as president of I-Corp. And this is what we wanted from the beginning. Which of course went crazy and went away. He locked the door completely and wrote to him on a piece of paper that there was currently someone here spying on him. So he was shocked. At the same time, the person who was spying on them was silent. Sitting in the car next to the house, he hears what they are saying, and everything is fine with him. What is not fine is that he suddenly notices that their voice has started to disappear. So he gets angry and leaves to adjust the spy device himself. But as soon as he came out, he found woe in his face, and woe to him immediately. With a hammer in the middle of his brain, he finished with it. After that, he came and saw the scene and was shocked again. Volek asked him to calm down and close the car door. After that, they got into the car and went to the gas station in the middle of the forest in the car, because they bring gasoline, and in order to get rid of the body, they just take their gasoline and it goes in. He and the governor go in so that they can be held accountable, and left. At that time, they were shocked because they found that the car had disappeared from in front of the gas station. So they were forced to return to the gas station owner again and ask him if he was on the internet here. He shocked them and told them that they were in a somewhat isolated place, as there was no internet and the only internet was here. He was in the city at the time. He asked how he could go to the city, and the woman told him that the distance would be, "It is very long unless they use the shortcut." So of course the one who asked her about this route, the woman went crazy and thought that she was standing in front. Woe to you. the hero who is the economy. So you keep laughing like a madwoman and you want to take a picture with him. She keeps wasting a lot of time, so Mr. Robot brings the last one, shouts at her, and asks her on the shortcut. So she describes the way for them and where they can go from exactly. And within half an hour they will reach the city, so they will take each other and leave immediately. They will stay, my friend, walking and walking in the middle of the forest, until they get bored and a fight breaks out between Willick and Mr. Robot because they have been walking in the forest for hours and have not reached anything. They are also here because of him. Because he was the one who told them that the person in the car died, but he came out alive and fled in the car amid the quarrels. They hear the sound of an animal in the forest, and Folk is afraid when he asks him to continue with him. They walked, and after a nice walk in the forest, they suddenly heard the sound of a passing car from next to them, so they ran there like crazy people. Unfortunately, the car did not stop and left immediately. The problem is not here, by the way. The problem is that they have themselves next to the gas they left behind hours ago. They were shocked because they discovered that all of this was happening around themselves. Unfortunately, they have to walk again, but this time they use the long road better. At least they don't get lost. They'll stay, my friend. We are walking until woe to you. He loses hope at all that he will arrive, and he sits on a tree trunk like this in the middle of the road and says, I wish you were always dressed the same clothes because you are not interested properly. Are you interested in me as a friend, or even interested in what might happen to me? Valette immediately said it to him in the face and said to him, No, Folek is very stupid. He asked him to leave him and walk away alone. The guy told him, I'm going and I'm actually taking some of it so he can leave. Then he said, I'll leave you and go. Folek told him to go. You never needed me at all. He laughed at him and said to him, Yes, I never needed you. You were already an obstacle in my way. And stay here and die, I don't care about you at all. And he stuck it in his brain and walked away. But after a while he came back again. Lolik tells him that he feels guilty, frankly, because he left him alone and told him that he came back, meaning also because he is the only person he respects, he loves him and treats him like a true friend. He also told him that he knows that they will die from an hour ago. The car disappeared, but he preferred to resist and did not lose hope for Dolan because he wanted to warn her and make her run away before the person who ran away in the car reported it about her, and she dies because of these words. A boy was very upset, but he was happy at the same time because he knew that she had died. He loves him as a friend, so he keeps telling him, let's continue. And they start to continue, my friend, and they keep walking a little sweet until They were walking and saw a dead deer on the road because there was a car that hit it. And they were lucky that the car that hit it was the car of the person who was he spies on them. And because of what happened, the car had an accident in the first place. So Verit Wilk approached them in Arabic. But at that time, the person in it comes out still alive and shoots them until Wilk hits him and finishes him off this time. Seriously, and unfortunately, my friend was shot by the person who hit them. It hit you, and she said, I was shocked when I saw him bleeding now. So he quickly took out his phone to call on the emergency. Voiki prevented him from doing this because at that time the Black Army would reach him and Lalit, and he asked him to burn the car with what in it. He was sure that he would get rid of White Rose and left him to walk, but he called him and told him that he would not be able to let you die again. So he reassured him and told him, not I will die, but you will walk a little in the forest, take some of it, and walk. As for the one who does what I tell you, he asked him to do. And he begins to set the car on fire with everything in it. He sends a message to Darlene in his place, and after a short period of time, Darlene arrives and takes him with her in the car, and they leave completely from this place of bad luck. After a while, they returned home to the girl, and at that moment the girl started crying without Darren noticing. And he quickly covered his tears before she sees him, and then he prepares an ID card for her and gives her the ID of an engineer in the company that has the Bank of Cyprus servers. After that, they take each other. They both go out there as soon as they arrive. This is when you enter the company normally, and your hand stands up from outside. This is what you enter normally, in front of a receptionist. As soon as you get close to the machine that opens using the card, you try the card he is dealing with, but you cannot open it. God is final. And this is what is meant, by the way. So you go back to the employee again and start to know the problem. She also drops her bag on the floor to attract the employee's attention. And then he enters the building without anyone noticing. As soon as he entered the building, he kept running until he reached a safe place. He immediately took out his laptop. He ran his encryption program and started breaking the company's security code. After he did that, he opened the door containing the main computer. The person who controls all the servers then opened the computer there, entered the company's server, and started adding the fake identity. What she did to Darlene at the same time was, Darlene was still standing at the receptionist, and the employee at the time started looking for her name in the employees to make sure that she really exists. And indeed he finds her name, Elliot, has been added for 5 seconds. So he reassures her and gives her a card so that she passes by God. So he asks her to take the card and leave. But before she passes, the employee calls her and tells her that she forgot her phone. It's also an intentional move, my friend, and we'll find out why in the future. Anyway, Dalam takes the phone, passes by, and gets on the elevator, terrifying his camera monitoring, and in the meantime, it was still working on the computer, and this time it entered the system, and it is literally currently working on all systems. The company breaks all its protection, and all devices remain disabled for a full 40 minutes. When the devices are disabled, Darren learns about as long as she notices. The camera is disconnected, so she quickly removes the knife from the mobile phone that she forgot with the employee, that this knife was on her, the employee's fingerprint. After that, said he would come and install the elevator, and they would both go out to the printing press. And there Darren would take out the screen. I follow the fingerprint. I wish Valette would receive it from her and print and start printing it as a 3-dimensional object dimensions. At the same time, the employee noticed that his devices were disconnected, so he was very surprised. From that, he went to the room where the computer was to see what was in it. And at that moment, he saw what he had done, so he tried to finish this operation. But he did not know. He got upset and decided to go out and see the servers. After about 20 minutes, the model would run out, and this would be used clay like this, and the fingerprint is made on it. After that, they go out and install the elevator from the second time, and this time they go out to the server room. They can enter the room using the employee's fingerprint and enter the room successfully. At this moment, they are in a very hurry because Fidel, Mrs. Duckhuck, and all the devices in the place will come back to work. So they take out their devices along with Darlene, and Darlene connects the device it belongs to the server in order to extract all the information from it. And the problem here is that at that time, the receptionist had also arrived at his room servers. And as soon as he arrived, he was shocked when he noticed that the door was open. So he opened his mobile phone, and now he knows that someone used his fingerprint. He entered the room and informed his friend, who was sitting downstairs, and asked him to call the police. Immediately, all these conversations took about 4 minutes, meaning there are 2 minutes left until the vacation starts, and that's not it. The employee just enters the room and looks for Elite and his sister. Thank God he passes by Elite and Dallin and does not notice the happy news from them. Meanwhile, Dallin had already entered the bank's server. But to withdraw all the information needs more time as well. And the problem is that there is only 1 minute left. So whoever acts is aware that the system monitoring is controllable. So it takes out its device and enters the IP of this system. He reprograms it, cuts off power to the entire shift system, and turns off the lights in the entire building. So the employee is very surprised by this and works. The flashlight he has with him continues to rotate on them, and although he lights the flashlight in their faces, he cannot see them because of the darkness. After that, Darn finishes everything and runs with the girl out of the room. The girl locks the employee inside the room. They run to Sanser, but they get terrified when they find someone coming up. They are forced to use the stairs and get off, and they can reach his exit gate, the building, and at that time they find police cars arriving at the place. So they are forced to return inside and lock themselves in a room like this. But the employee, he saw the letter and came now and tried to pull the door. The letter immediately pushed the door open and the employee fell. He ran like a madman from the building and the police ran after him. As for Dar herself, she didn't get to see anything because the one who made the move, these were an illusion that they did not agree on. So she continued walking as usual and no one noticed her at all. So she went upstairs and there she saw a t-shirt thrown away on the table. I put it on and disguised myself. And then I was able to leave the building safely and get into the car. At the same moment, the hand was still running away from the police and kept running among the cars, but the police wouldn't let him go. So he had to enter. He runs among the skiers, continues running, and throws himself from a small hill like this. Despite everything, the police also keep running after him, but he can get on a bus and run away. But still, after a while, a police car came and stopped in front of the entire bus, so he got off and ran. He was running, and a car hit him, so he fell unconscious. He has moments, but he gets up again and finds himself surrounded by a police car, so he jumps like a madman from the top of the bridge. But he doesn't notice anything happen to him because Dal comes to take him in Arabic, and they both run away on the other hand. By the way, we always see her sitting. She is currently with her mother in the same house, and her mother is inviting her friend whom she still knows, Janice. But after dinner, Janice goes out to talk to Dom and shocks her and tells her, "If you go, don't go to work tomorrow. You covered up the problem of Santiago killing your mother." Of course, she is always terrified for her mother and knows that she works with the Army of Darkness. So she approaches her and tells her, "If you touch my mother, I will kill you." Janice laughed and left her terrified. Fatani walked all day long, always getting up in the morning and going to attend the investigation into her disappearance, Santiago. And of course, at that time, you always told the investigator that Santiago was a balanced, respectful, fair, and dutiful person with his parents. He does the best and brings with people. But suddenly she always got nervous and changed her words and said to the investigator, Santiago was a double agent. The investigator was shocked, so Dom cried and continued her words and said, he said that Santiago was working with very dangerous people. So the investigator asked her to calm down, and people asked her who did the Torrejo drug trafficking organization tell him. I mean, in the end, my friend Dom, she carried out what was required of her and completely removed the Army of Darkness from the picture. And after the investigation, she still called Jans and told her everything was fine, and I knew her name. The investigator who was investigating him, Fajans, was very happy with all of this and wrote the investigator's name on a standing paper. I hung up the call with Dom the next day. Dom went back to work the next day and started investigating a criminal. His name is Maguire. He runs a shipping site, but not shipping goods. He does not ship people, meaning he runs away. People are currently arrested because he smuggled more than 17 people out of prison. And literally there is no information he connected them with 17 people because he created new identities for them with new names. The lesson is that while investigating a second investigator from the office, he came to her and asked her to go with him to Dom. The investigation was fixed and she went after him, and now she saw the news upside down about a suicide and an investigator. He confronted her and told her that the person who killed himself was Harrington. The investigator who was handling the case, Santiago, is of course always shocked by this, and her shock is when she finds a message from Jens. So she knows that they are the ones who they killed Horneton so that the case would be closed completely after his death. So of course she gets very upset because she also feels she was the reason for his death. Anyway, the next day she always woke up and prepared herself to go. She spends this day with her mother. But Jan sends her a message telling her that their car is burned and thrown in the middle of the forest. Of course, she asks her to use her influence as a federal investigator and go there and find out who the body is. She always has to listen and go there. But by the way, she doesn't benefit from anything. So she returns to the office again, and there she always leaves a mobile phone in a gift box. She walks to a detective from the office and sees this mobile phone. So she takes it and delivers it to her device at the same time, without connecting the mobile phone to the computer, meaning that anything that appears on the computer will appear on the mobile phone is originally connected to a DOM device. And I send a message to Janice informing her of all of this. So Janice says, okay. After that, she always returns home to her family, and there Jan sends her a new message with a picture of Elite and his sister, and asks her that she arrested them because she saw the surveillance cameras and knew that they had appeared at the car. She found Dawn is shocked by this. And at the same time, by the way, we see Krista returning home, but she doesn't have time to enter the house because she finds Vera in front of her. Vera takes her, shoulders her, and ties her up on a chair in the heart of the house. He approached her while she was collapsing from crying and said to her, I will destroy what you are going to help me. He then asked her to. She tells him the keys to his character so he can use them against him. Krista doesn't tell him anything and lets him know that she can't stand the character because he hacked her and also threatened Lenny, whom she loved. So she kept this talk away from him. It didn't enter my mind Vera's pure because, I know that she loves the girl too, so in the middle of what is happening, this is a fiancé. Krista comes and knocks on the apartment door to open it for him. But Vera closes her mouth and lets him knock outside until he gets bored and leaves, and there is plenty, by the way. He's now looking at me through the window while he is walking, and I find him very upset. So he keeps laughing and then gets closer to Krista this time. He threatens her that he will kill her fiancé if she does not help him destroy the robot. And by the way, he really breaks the relationship, my friend, to make him start from scratch and become his partner. The important thing is that Krista, she is afraid for her fiancé this time and now agrees to tell him the secret of the letter and describe to him exactly where the letter's file is and let him know. In this file, he will find the character of his robot, Mr. Elliot, and he will know everything about Elite, even his weaknesses. Commit to what is happening. He was sitting now in a cafe waiting for Leon. He was waiting for him. He called Darlene and told her that Philip had sent him the address where she would gather. He then agreed with her that they would stay in a hotel near this place and hung up the call as soon as he saw Leon entering. The problem was that he didn't know that after he hung up on Darlene, she always went to him and raised a gun at him, but in general, my friend, let's stay now with Elite and Leon, who was very happy when he saw Elite and greeted him. He gave him the drugs he asked him for without anyone noticing. When Valet took them from him, he got up to walk straight away. The Greek said, because he wanted to sit with the girl for a while, but the girl apologized to him and told him that he was busy these days, so he understood all of this and said, if you need anything from me. Something called me, and then he walked away to be held accountable. Then Mr. Robot appeared and said to him, you don't have to do this. And we know that Eli bought these drugs from Leon to put them on Olivia in her drink to spoil her son's custody and threaten her with it. And Mr. Robot was, I think this is overstepping the bounds and that they never did this. I wish he had told him that there was no time for us to think. Mr. Robot was silent and woe to me. He immediately bought a drink, took it and went to Olivia's house with it. Of course, she was surprised when she first saw it. I was happy. Took the drink from him and took him to the apartment. And unfortunately, I drank from the drink, which at that time he revealed himself and asked her about her clients at Cyprus Bank. Olivia began to get nervous and she was afraid when she approached her and told her that most of her clients were from the group that runs the world in secret and is the cause of the civil war that also exists in Congo, the Iraq War and its massacre Salado in Colombia and Libya, my friend. You are shocked when you know all this, and you are shocked too. When Elite told her that he had hacked her and knew everything, she now wanted to call her manager to access the server she had, mixed with viruses so that he can then withdraw his data in the way he wants. He also told her that these people were exploiting her and that he would be able to stop them. Olivia was crying and throwing him out of the house. And at that time, he revealed his last papers. He threatened her with a drug test. So Olivia understood that he had put drugs in her drink to make it appear she was addicted. So she started crying because she would lose her son. At that moment, he told her, if you don't do it, what is required is that you lose your son, Olivia, so that she does not lose her son. She calls the manager, but the secretary is the one who responds and informs her that when the manager arrives, he will call her and she will hang up the call with her. After that, Olivia will talk to the girl and ask him how many lives he has ruined until now, in order to implement everything in his mind. This affects the robot to the point that he does not know how to respond at all. Olivia is fed up with him. She goes to the bathroom, but when she enters the bathroom, she hears a loud knocking sound in the bathroom, so she gets up. He runs quickly and enters after her. He finds her hurting both of her hands in order to kill herself. So he is shocked and goes to stop the bleeding. And literally, miraculously, he is able to. He stops the bleeding, ties her hands, and starts apologizing. But Olivia, of course, does not accept his apology because he destroyed her life. Fled gets upset. He gave her the phone to answer her manager. Before she could answer, she asked him if they were really responsible for the Columbia massacre. She also knew him while crying that her mother had already died in this rosary. So let him be upset and promise her that he would stop them. They had to because they did a lot of dirtier things than that. So Olivia believed what he said and opened up now to the manager, started saying anything to him and saving Lalit time until he penetrated him. And indeed, he was following up with it on the mobile phone. And as soon as the manager enters the server, Lalit receives the password and all the information he wanted. And it remains in my hand. Olivia pointed out that it means that what he wants is over. Olivia ends a call with the manager and says, I wish they were monsters, but you are also a monster. exactly like them. But your problem is that you don't know that you are a monster who is frankly upset by this talk. He takes some of it and walks out of Sukkot. He and Mr. Robot go out into the street. Suddenly, while they are walking, Krista calls the robot and tells him that Vera, he kidnapped her now, but he left her, meaning when she gave him all the information, and she is currently running away. He stood in Washington Square, and at that time he asked her to prefer in her place. He was going to go to her. Then he hung up the call and ran there. As soon as he arrived at the square, Vera's men arrested him. They took him and went back straight to Krista's house. There, Mr. Robot found out that they were on the second floor with 3 addicts. The only way out was the door of the emergency ladder behind him, who at the time told him, "I don't intend to run away at all until I find Krista." Mister, a robot doesn't like this talk because he knows that Vera is crazy and talking to him won't get any results. He insists on talking to him and asks him, "Now what is he doing here?" So Vera approached him and said to him, "I will control all of New York and I want you to help us against your will and also remain my partner." At that time, he went crazy and knew that he would not agree to participate in anything with him unless he first checked on Krista. He became angry with him and raised a knife at him. Then he took him to the office where Krista was tied. As soon as he entered the office and saw her suffering like this, he got very upset and asked Vera that he let her walk. So Vera refused and was shocked and told him, "I want to get to know Mr. Robot first." And he said Krista told him everything about Mr. Robot. He gets upset about that because Krista said everything. Something asked him, "Well, you want Mr. Robot anyway?" Vera told him, "I want to talk to him," and threatened he came and put the knife on Krista's neck. From here, Mr. Robot intervened and started talking to Vera. He stood in front of him like this, not afraid at all, and he also insulted Vera and his friend as well. So his friend became fanatical and raised. He had a gun and no hair was shaken from it at all. Vera liked this conversation and shouted at his man and said to him, "Put down your weapon after that, mister." A robot asked him what he wanted from him. So he asked him what the reason for his existence was in the first place. So Mr. Robot told him why. "When someone like you gets close, protect them from you." Vera asked him why he appeared in the first place and what he was protecting him from. Mr. A. Robot told him, "I showed up because my father died when he was 8 years old, and his mother treated him badly, so I just needed someone to help him." Vera, my friend, was not convinced by this response and really wanted to know the real reason. Mr. Robot changed the subject and asked him what he wanted now. Exactly. And he also knew that he was not threatened with a weapon because it was a weapon in the first place. And not only that, but he also made fun of it. Ali Vera told him what your qualifications were in the first place so that I could work with him. Vera was upset by this talk at the time. He knew that he wanted to control the city and make every corner of the city buy drugs. He also made big companies sell Mr. Robot's drugs. He understood at the time that he wanted to. He enters the field of real estate, which means not real estate, my friend, buildings, which are drugs. And he said, to do this, you need money, and you currently have nothing but your stupidity. Vera is upset. He asked him what he would do to make money, and Mr. Robot told him that he had a nice plan. But on one condition, the first one leaves Krista Vera. But he refuses because Krista is a pressure and safety card for him. Valet came in from here and told him about his plan and told him that he would carry out a hacking operation today and steal. He had a lot of money in it. And at that time, a group asked him for evidence that he would steal money for him. Viet told him that all the evidence was on my laptop. So Vera now knew that he was talking to the robot, not Mr. Robot, and he told him, you are the mind. He planned all of this. I am afraid of you. By the way, he approached Mr. Robot and asked his men now to go and get his bag. So they did. So one of his men gave him the bag and said, the laptop comes out of the bag. While he was doing this, he took care of the gun in the bag and acted it was completely normal. And he opened the laptop, and now behind them was the bank balance that they were going to steal today. So Fira Farah and everyone with him were shocked by the amount of money he intends to steal. Then he takes advantage of all this talk and takes the gun out of the bag and raises it at Vera. And not only that, I wish he hits him with a gun. But then he discovers that there is no bullet in the gun. And Vera and his men at that time laugh at him and then go and lose him. I have complete confidence in Elite, because it is very normal for him to betray him. Then he grabs the gun and goes to get Krista and raises a gun at her in front of Elite in order to kill her. Fleet goes crazy and shouts at him and asks him to leave Crystal, that he needs her because she is the only one who helps him from here. Vera understands that the girl is very attached to her, so he lowers his weapon and makes the girl sit in front of him and ask after, so Krista can sit with him, treat him, give him a psychotherapy session and ask him some questions. Krista refuses to do this because she has to. She and the girl are alone and no one is worried. So he shouted at his men now and let them all go outside. The house is completely empty. After that, he shot Christ's leg to scare her, and against her will, the session begins. She actually started crying at that time when he asked her to calm down and ask him the questions that Vera had asked her. Krista calmed down and started asking him questions. It's completely normal. Vera didn't like this and now he's gone to get it. The file belongs to Elite, and he told her that you said that Elite has a secret, and so that we know what this secret is, we must know the reason for the existence of Mr. Robot, Elite. He is surprised by this talk and notices that Mr. A. Robot suddenly appeared in front of him, shouted at him, and tried to make him not listen to the words that workers were reading. So, whoever understands this is that Mr. Robot is hiding. There is something really wrong with him. His curiosity is killing him completely. He knows this secret the second time, and now he asks Krista like a madman and asks her to tell him. The truth is that Krista mentioned the day he fell out of the window and asked him to tell him what happened that day. The one who said that he and his sister went to their father's room to get his camera, but at that moment he heard that his father was coming out. So he made his sister hide and held her time. The baseball bat kept waving and screaming. Then he jumped out of the net and later knew that he didn't remember what exactly happened, because Darlene was the one who told him all this at the time. She didn't tell him at the time that she thought Mr. Robot meant it. He is hiding this memory from you, and you are supposed to remember it. He started yelling at Mr. Rot and asked him, "You really hid this memory from me. Why did you do this?" Mr. Robot went crazy and told him, "I am here to protect you. I am not tired of this." And he started screaming to Krista, and he told her that if he knew the secret, it would be destroyed. Please don't tell him. But Krista didn't listen to Mr. Robot and said, "I wish Mr. a robot that always protects you properly." So you know what, it was originally protecting you from the day it controlled you. He made you jump out of the window, and his body started moving in a strange way, and he told her that he was not afraid. More. So I asked him, okay, he was afraid of what? So Vera replied, and he told her he was afraid of. His father said at the time, "No, my father was the most precious of my friends. It is impossible for me to be afraid of him." He jumped out the window and helped Krista after that. "Why would I be afraid of him in the first place, my father?" Krista said to him while crying, "You were with your sister in the room, and when I heard your father's voice coming, I was afraid for Darlene and made her hide. After that, your father entered the room. You played with him and grabbed a baseball bat to keep him away from you and ran away from him by jumping out of the window. The question here is, why were you so terrified of him?" He was going to ask you for something specific. So he told me that she would collapse from crying and said to her, "Yes, she is done." At that time, I asked him if his father was a despicable person who harassed him when he was young. He literally destroyed my friend and said to her while he was dying of crying, "Yes." Then he left the office. He kept screaming like a madman. And then my friend sat down at that time, followed him, and tried to calm him down. He knew that when he was young, the same thing happened to him, and they said, "If someone had changed us, you and I, it would have been our time. We died. So let you be in control and people fear you instead of you starting to fear people because of something. It happened to you when you were young." My friend cried and told him that he didn't want to be alone again. So Vera reassured him and told him that he would be with him no matter what happened. Suddenly, without any introduction, Krista comes, my friend, and feeds Vera with a knife in his back, and he dies in a very shocking scene. By the way, Krista did this to literally save Elite because Elite was going to join Vera because he was convinced his words are like this. My friend, his brain was washed. The important thing is, after all these shocks, and after Vera's death, I preferred to sit in shock and not speak at all. And I also saw himself when he was young. But Krista she is now watching Vera's men downstairs and is terrified when she finds them coming out. So she quickly goes to wake up and keeps calling him until he wakes up at the same time. Vera's men were going out of the house, and when they entered the house, they were shocked when they saw Vera dead and thrown on the ground. So they knew that Krista and those who killed him and fled. So they facilitated his wallet and fled as well. At that moment, he was riding a taxi with Krista so that they can go to the name in general. After a while, he will reach the name. And at that time, he refuses to enter the name because he is afraid and tells her now. He cried because he had to resist his father. So Krista got very upset and told him, "You were a child. You would have resisted." How did she ask him to try to live with this ordeal and forget it because he is a special person in general? And she told him that she would call him tomorrow because I checked on him. Fred apologized to her, meaning that he showed her all of this because of him. So I thought I knew that she will be with him and hug him. Then leave him and enter the name and walk from here, my friend. We will come back. Darm is currently sitting on a chair like this. And Dawn calls Janice and tells her that she arrested Darlene, but her brother is not there. So she hung up the call with her and sent for Zhang's help. The help went to Zhang and showed him the picture of Elite and his sister and told him that she saw it. The girl became a danger to them and they had to get rid of him. So John Judge told her that if they killed him, they wouldn't know the shipment code and that he didn't want everything either. She was ruined after they finally came close to achieving their dream and transferring the project. He asked her to bring the robot but not to kill the assistant. At that time, she reported it Janez, so Janez insisted on Dom and told her that they wanted the hand, but only the hand. As for his sister, they killed her. Of course, Dom was shocked by this request because she doesn't want to kill Darlene, but Jans threatens her and makes her know that if she doesn't do this, she will kill her entire family. She's always afraid for her family. She agreed, hung up the call, grabbed Darl by the hair and threw her into the bathtub. She kept crying and begging her not to do that, so Doma told her, You ruined my life and I'm here because of you. I kept asking her to give her a second chance, and she told her that they will finish off the Dark Army today. But you always can't believe it, and you throw the gun at Darlene's head, who then keeps crying loudly because of her crying. She always doesn't kill her, but rather hits her on the head with a gun, and she faints after a while. Darren excels and finds her brain bleeding from the blow. She always finds him approaching her on the phone and asks her to tell them exactly where she is so she saves her from death, but Darl refuses. Dawn is forced to give Darlene her gun and ask her to hit her with it and kill her. She runs away because when Jans arrives, she finds out that she died while trying to kill Darlene, so she doesn't come as for her family. Of course, Darlene refuses, so she always keeps crying, which means she kills her too, and honestly something shocking is happening. And Jens enters and sees them doing this now, so she finds out Dom is a traitor. So she grabs the gun and brings it close to Darren's brain to kill her. Because that's it doesn't matter anymore. Don't forget that she will know where is her brother through her mobile phone. But she is shocked now when she finds Darlene setting up a factory for the mobile phone and deleting everything from it. Darlene is important, and they can't kill her. Chance goes crazy and makes her men go and break into Dom's family home and arrest them all at the same time. At that time, Jens herself was sitting with Dom and Darlene in front of her, and she was trying to get Darlene to tell her where she was. Dom told her that this way, Darlene will never hand over her brother no matter what she does. Janice takes out a bag of knives and holds on. Sakina is one of them, and she always goes to feed her in her jacket. And she kept going crazy because of what happened. As for Jans, she said, she will live for a quarter of an hour and then she will die. So tell me where your brother is, so we can start catching up with her. The lesson is that Dom herself asked Darlie not to hand over her brother at all, even if she was going to die. Sex drove him crazy, and she took out her phone and knew Dom. She will now call her men to finish off her entire family. If she doesn't keep quiet, she will always cry and bring her back because she will leave. Her family is curious, and she has to intervene to save them. And unfortunately, she tells them where her brother is at this time. On the other hand, the Dark Army men had arrived at Krista's apartment, as Darlene told them because she had tracked his phone. But they meant they don't find anyone there at all, and they find the police transporting Vera's body to the person from there, the one from the Army of Darkness called Jens, and told him everything. So Janice came and said this to Darlene and asked her to find a second way. He took her to her brother, and Darlene cried and told her that this was the only way she had sex. She decided to let her men kill her family. Dom called her men once a second and didn't find anyone to answer. So Dom told her to look. I was surprised by this on my phone. So I picked up her phone and found 14 calls from someone Moeen called this person, and was surprised that the one who answered her was Mag Wire, and told her not to be afraid, I saved your whole family. Jans. At that time, she was shocked and said to him, "Who are you in the first place?" So Maguire understood that he followed the army of darkness, not always. So he told her that he had finished off all her men and saved the people of Dam, for always his happiness before in his case at the same time. Dam acted quickly, my friend, and removed the knife from her chest and stabbed the person with it, with Jans. I dropped him on the ground, took the gun from him, and killed him, his friend, and Jans the garbage man after that. So I had Darlene give her phone, so she took the phone and then called the emergency room and reported that she was injured and gave them the apartment address. She quickly asked Dahl that she would run away from here before anyone arrived, and before she left, she told her to find the one who would kill her. This army of darkness is garbage no matter what it costs them. At this moment, she is very affected and is forced to walk quickly in order to catch up. She sees her brother at the same time. My friend was in Old Scythe and working on the plan. Mr. Robot appears to him and he will die of anger at him. He told him that the only reason for his presence was to protect him from anyone who wanted to harm him. And he told him that was it. It was your father's duty from the beginning. But he turned out to be a weak and trashy person, so you brought me here because I know how to protect you. And from the time I appeared, I tried to hide all the painful memories from you because I was afraid that you would be affected by them, and I wanted you to be sure I am not your father who told him at the time that he knows that you are not like him in anything. And that is why I made you to be the father I wanted to be. Mr. Robot. At that time, he cried, hugged him, and collapsed. He cried and said to him, "I don't know how to complete the plan." But he is calm, and Mr. Robot is controlling him now, and he decides to implement the plan. He goes and meets him. Darl is in the hotel next to the place where she will gather today and finds Darlene working on the plan. So he asks her, what is the news of the plan? She knows that she is currently watching the door from the surveillance side and will wait until he reaches it later. So Darl gets angry at him and asks him where you were because he is supposed to be late. So Mr. Robot responds to her, and from his response she knows that I am talking to Mr. Robot, not the one who asks where he is and why he is here. Not the one, because she is not. He was getting a lot of shit from the robot. So Mr. Robot replied to her and told her that he wouldn't tell her where the robot was. And he told her that the robot had to be the one to appear by himself. If he wanted to appear, she would remain silent and not know how to respond. And at this moment, Philip comes and talks to Mr. Robot and gives him a flash drive like this with everything on it. Information about White Rose's project and her god. And he asked him to destroy the project and the god exactly as Angela wanted. Mr. Robot told him, "Okay, take the flash drive from him." Philip then took some of it and walked away. After that, Mr. Robot sat down to finish work and started preparing the plan for a moment. In a moment, we know here, my friend, that the plan is that after all the members gather, there will still be, you will withdraw their numbers from them and compare them with the numbers of all their accounts in Cyprus Bank. And using these numbers, they will all transfer all the money from the bank. And of course, at that time, there will be secret codes that will reach all members on their numbers so that the transfer can be done. It is preferable that she copies these numbers with the program that she created and followed them to confirm the transfer only. There is a problem, which is that when Philip arrives at the place where the members are supposed to gather, he is surprised because he does not find anyone but Jang also. Mr. Robot notices that a long time has passed and no one has entered the place except Philly Bleep. So he starts to get nervous and hold on now. The laptop is trying to be like the old one and see any other different solution. And now you come to it, by the way. The idea is that he would hack into Willick's accounts because he was definitely invited to this meeting, and definitely at the time he was going to be the new boss. So Mr. Robot now knows what Darlene is going to do. So Darlene helps him and is able to hack Willick's account. They now find a letter sent to him from Waitrose informing him that the meeting place has changed and the new place is a hall located on Broadway from here. Darren quickly got up and asked Mr. Robot to prepare himself so that they could both go there. Mr. Robot felt something was wrong because White Rose was with Philip Vazai and they didn't go there. He refuses to go with Darlene and asks her to be the one to walk, and he will wait here. Maybe something is going wrong. And Darlene is listening at the time, and you walk, and at the same time, Philip was sitting with Yang. He said, "My friend, it's Rose. Focus with me and I'll tell you something. From now on, we'll say, Jang is always there to get rid of this brain pain. The important thing is that Jang's assistant came to him and told him that Woe to You has disappeared and that he is not with you." Now Des Jank Atkanen Group asked Philip where he was. Philip told him, "I don't know, maybe he died." It is not true that he said that he wanted to go around the southern region a little so that he could feel a little freedom. By the way, my friend, I want to tell you something important, which is that Philip may be talking seriously, because until now there is no evidence that Woe to You, he really died. Because if he had died, the world would have turned upside down and news of his death would have spread everywhere, so we really don't know if he died or not. The important thing is that help was asked by Jang-an. He quickly goes to the rest of the members to warn them to leave from there, but Jang refuses. So the assistant gets angry with him and submits her resignation. She walks away and then Jang starts preparing himself to leave from here. At that moment, he finds Philip Burns' phone. Of course, Bird finds Mr. Robot talking to Jang. Then he gets nervous and shows up. Mr. Robot has to stop all the plans he is making now and give him very important information that he himself was in and told him the information. By the way, this has something to do with your friend Angela. Of course, Philip and Mr. Robot have speculated and are next to you. He continued talking after that and said to him, "Angela is still alive and has not died." When Philip heard these words, he is very shocked and wants Jang not to lie and to tell the truth seriously. But Mr. Robot does not believe him and insults him because Jang originally sent him a picture Angela was killed. So she was alive now. So I said he would regain consciousness again and hear my friend Jang telling him, "Let me save you from regret. What you live in and let you live in the world you wanted to be in, just like Angela, the lit." At that time, he cried because of what he said because he really wanted it. On the other hand, these people had already reached the place where the members were gathered. But she joined because she knew that she would not be able to enter the place because of the tight security there. So she had a nice idea and entered a clothing store near her. And after a while, I sent a message to Lalit and asked him to turn on the TV. The only one who was still talking to Jang, when he saw Darlene's message, Jang was shocked and said to him, "I don't need help. You are the one who needs it." He closed the road in his face. He started watching the video that he had filmed and published while she was wearing an F-mask. Society said in this video that there is a group called Run the World, and they are a group of the rich, and I will leave you now their scandals under this video. And not only that, this is what made the whole world know that the group they are currently gathered in the Broadway Hall. Of course, this video reaches all members of the group. Their head is Jang, and this is something that terrifies them all, and they want to walk. So Jang asks them on the phone that they prefer their place and not they don't move, but they refuse so that they don't open up. Each one of them starts calling his driver to get out of the building quickly, but Darren disrupts the garage gate so that the cars do not leave. And she keeps waiting for the members to leave the building themselves. They don't go out to get into their cars. They don't find any cars in front of them, so they keep standing in the street. From here, Darl is being exploited. This dialogue, and she runs the program that YouTube programmed on her phone and withdraws their bank accounts one after the other. News. The happy thing is that the members are surrounded by people who were listening to the video and also the press. And at that moment, Darlene started. I followed these accounts to Lalit, and he himself started matching them and writing his password for each account. The phone number, which is now a university, has approximately 99 accounts, and all that is left is the number Waitrose's account. But I said I sent her a file like this and asked her to search for the number on it. His phone is monitored, and after a while, thank God, you will find the last account, which is Waitrie's account, and you will follow it, Lalit, and she knows him, who of course is very happy and asks her to start transferring. And at that time, the bank sends messages to all members, a message containing a confirmation code. This message comes to Lalit on his device and he sends it to Darlene. And Darlene uses it and confirms the transfer. And the task is completed successfully, and Darlene is going bankrupt, and in the meantime, his transfer messages reach Gang. He is shocked by his life and now asks Philip what is happening. Philip provokes him and tells him, "Okay, we are bankrupt now. I once told you it is better for me to see you lose than to gain. And I would like to tell you that your project has finally been destroyed. These words make Yang explode with anger and kill Philip with a gun immediately in the middle of the street. He gets into his car and runs away with his men and disguises himself in Waitrose's clothes. The special forces come and ask him to open the door instead of breaking it on his head, but he refuses. So the forces you storm the palace, and my friend, we hear nothing but the sound of the massacre taking place between the special forces and the men of the Dark Army. The next day, the news turns the world upside down, and the whole world knows that Minister Jiang is the leader of the Army of Darkness, and he was disguised in Waitrose. Dom was in the hospital and is now seeing all this news. She has an investigator from the Federal Bureau with her. So she asks him, what are her family doing? So he told her that they are fine and in a safe place. So she asks him to let her meet her family, but he refuses now. He tells her that it won't work because the office doubted her at all, that she was working with the Army of Injustice. And he leaves her now while she is crying and then leaves. The nurse enters her room, begs her and asks her to let her go home, since she is fine now. In the end, the nurse agrees and lets her go. Her sick friend takes her out of the hospital in a wheelchair. After that, she always gets up and goes back home. She is always preparing food to eat at that time. Dalim came and asked her to leave the house and go with her, along with Wallet Bassoon. She refused and told her that she would stay here until she is acquitted by the FBI so that she can at least eventually go back and see her family. But Darlene is not convinced by her words. She knows that the Army of Injustice will kill her if she stays here. And she also knows that the Bureau of Investigation is investigating her now and may discover that she was working with the Dark Army. She still didn't care about it at the time. All of this kept making her angry and breaking everything she comes in front of her, upsets her, and convinces her of her well-being. She runs away with her and gets worried in general after a while. They go out in front and stay together and go to meet Elite so that they can all escape together. And at that time, she stands and talks to Elite. And at that time, he tells her that he will not be able to escape because his mission is not over yet, and he must destroy the Waitrose project completely as Philip promised. At first, she gets upset, very much so. But in general, she told him that she was going to travel, and she hugged him while crying, said goodbye to him, and walked away with Dom. And by the way, Dom is not alone. But now she went and got into the car with Dom and Leon because, by the way, he called him and asked him to be the second he runs away with his sister and Dom. And of course, Leon agreed that he would help him. And currently, he is delivering them in Arabic. It belongs to the airport, and each one of them is equipped with a new passport, with a completely new identity so that they can escape. They start their lives over as different people in a completely different place. And they just keep going like this until they get tired. They go to rest in the city for a while, and there they both sit in a place like this garden. Darn, she takes out her phone from which she carried out the hack and starts transferring the money they stole yesterday to the iCoin, and then distributes the coins. This is equal for literally all the people. And all the people suddenly, my friend, receive a message with the money that suddenly reached their accounts. So of course they die from the joy, is that a lot of money has reached them, and they keep laughing. By the way, she always gets the same message on her phone, but she was upset because she thought this was a theft. But Dan told her that they had stolen people from the Army of Darkness, the garbage that is considered to have stolen the entire people. And she kept screaming with joy like a madwoman, because she had actually finally done what she wanted to accomplish a year ago. After that, everyone would get back in the car again with Leon. And after a while, they would finally arrive at the airport and enter their own airport Monday. The shock remained that in the heart of the airport, she always met and her face turned colors of terror. Harfiaj then starts talking to Dom and signs the book for her, which means he wrote it and gave it to her a copy of it. But of course she is always terrified and takes the book from him, and she is also terrified. So she cries and begs him now that he does not leave her, and Daleen Parving shocked her and told her that he was happy that she had killed Jans. And not only that, he told her that the Dark Army had completely removed her from his mind. They will not expel her because they are now already busy with more important matters than all of this. And he reassured her after that and told her that she no longer needs to take off. She was completely herself, or even her family. And he left her, of course, and she is happy now, and she walked, and of course always on. The idea was shocking. but at the same time she was happy with what she heard. So she goes back to Andy Darlene and introduces her to everything and says she told her that she would no longer travel because she did not need to run away. Of course, Darlene gets upset, but she said that she would not be able to travel alone because she did not like to be alone and did not know how to do anything alone. So she would cry again and she would know her, now that she still won't be able to travel because of her family and work. She keeps getting upset, but she understands. She talks to her, puts her down, leaves her now, and walks to get on the plane and travel. But always she takes. Some of them are just to get out of the airport. But the strange thing, my friend, is that when they arrive at the exit gate, she can't go out and decides to go back to Darlene again and travel with her. The funny thing is that Darlene, the second one, decides not to travel. She goes back to sit with Dom, and I saw Manani frowning. As soon as Darlene leaves the airport, Dom enters, she enters, gets on the plane, waits for Darlene, and in the end the plane takes her alone and travels. But Darlene returns to the city from secondly, on the basis that there was always a year on the other side that was talking to Mr. A Robot, and they knew that he was finally able to ruin his god Waitrose and lose her, completely using the flash drive he took from Philip. Mr. Robot does not like this dialogue, because he thinks that they have already done what they had to do, and that is not what they are required to do again. He is also afraid that they will destroy this god and explode, which will of course cause a very large nuclear leak. It happens in the whole country and the numbers of people are huge, the opposite of what my friends saw. They will not get rid of Waitrose permanently until they destroy his nuclear machine, and in general, after a while, he will arrive at the station, the Washington Township nuclear reactor, that was leaked because under this station, there is a laboratory Waitrose and its machine that was going to ship it to Congo. The important thing is that now it is the first to he arrived at the station and was very surprised, because he did not find anyone there. Even security was not present, as if the station had remained abandoned, and in fact, I hope he does not care about all of this and decides now that he will enter and implement the last part of it, the plan. He sits on the computer and connects the flash drive he took from Philip, and automatically restarts the machine and returns it for idle mode. This means that when Waitrose tries to operate the machine again, you will need for many years to be able to do this. I was very happy at the time because he had already done what he wanted, and his mother is about to leave. And at that moment he notices the body of the employee who is with him in the room. So he collides and is even more shocked when he finds the police arriving. He confined him to the building, so he went out to escape. And at that time he found his men, the Army of Darkness, in front of him, so they arrested him and took him with them. They preferred to stay walking. They are a bit nice, and as long as they were walking, he was shocked by the corpses he encountered. But in general, the men of the Army of Injustice arrive at their room, and they walk to this room. My friend, it is the same room where Waitrose met Angela before. If you remember, Waitrose did a laundry for her brain, if you think about it. Now Waitrose is coming again and doing the same thing she did before with Angela with Elite and sitting down, because she talked to him and brainwashed him, which at the time made her know that the work she was doing would not be good for him. Waitrose told him that she had been trying all this past period to create a new world that did not contain any ideal science, which he said at the time to her, "You wanted to destroy the world because you hate people." So Waitrose kept laughing like a madwoman and told him that humans are the root of misfortunes. She belongs to the whole world, and tells him that she was doing all this because she loves people and sees that they were exposed to harsh conditions because the world is not suitable for them, so I wanted to do this project. By the way, my project is about a huge machine, and through it I will be able to control time and create a parallel world for each person using virtual reality technologies. This world differs according to each person. And my friend, note that I want to tell you that the words, "this seems to be very illogical." But to be honest, this is the only explanation. And this is the reason for Waitrose's obsession with time and time in general, which is important now. He responds to her and makes her know that he hates people because of what was done to him. But despite that, he was enduring pain. And this is because of the people who she always loves him, even though he doesn't love himself. And he told her that in any of the worlds you want to create, humans will be them, they are also human beings. Meaning that they will face setbacks that will break them. But they will not stop there because this is nature. The people and the secret of their existence at that moment were crying and saying all of this. And even this talk really affected Waiters, so she cried again because after a while, she began to be convinced by his words. And in the middle of their words, my warning was that the nuclear activation was working. So I was shocked he asks her what is happening. And she is shocked and knows that her minority worked because she knew that the robot would try to disable her. And that is why she was calculating and told him, "You will know that you made a mistake when this God works and moves all the people." To a parallel world at the time, they upset her because if this article worked, this would make the activator explode and not far away. He completely destroys the entire country. Vitros told him, "I know, and that's why I wanted to tell Congo. But it's ruined because of you." Then she got up. From the chair, she held a gun in her hand and said, "I wish I was Horik, whom Angela saw with her own eyes." And she would kill herself in front of the eyes of the night. At that time, he gets terrified and tries to get out, but he finds the room door locked. Mr. Robot appears and starts helping Elite and asks him to try it. He sees the phone. Valette is doing this, and he hears someone now saying a number. So he says this number to Mr. Robot. Thank God the door opens because it is the password. But the one who refuses to run away because he knows very well that if the reactor runs away, it will explode. The whole country will be destroyed, and it is not unlikely that he will die again. And therefore, he will be sure that he can stop the explosion if he tries. Especially since, by the way, there is an envelope written on it that says exit on the Waitrose CD. She originally left it, and the one who just played this CD on the computer. So you play an old game that consists of questions, and you ask him what he will do while he is locked up with his friend, and not. He has nothing but a barrel. So he responded and said, "I will move the barrel and enter the secret tunnel." The game said to him, "But your friend is weak and will not be able to run away with you. What will you do left?" So I said without thinking. He told her, "I will run away alone, so he will win the game." And she told him, "Congratulations, you are going to the new world." At that time, he is shocked because the heart still does not want to stop. So he understands he had to not run away and stay with his weak friend so that the god would not explode. So he played again, and this time he answered that he would sit with his weak friend. And as soon as he sends this answer, the alarm stops. So Mr. Robot goes now in order to open the room door quickly. As soon as he does that, he finds a terrible fire closing the exit. So he closes the door while he is upset because he knows that that's it. The explosion will happen, meaning it will happen. And after that, he will sit in front of the girl and wait for the explosion. But before the explosion happens, the girl confesses to him he really loves him like his father and brother, and he is considered his only friend in the whole world. It was exploding while they were both sitting in the heart of the locked room. After a while, we will move to the parallel world. And the question here, my friend, is the White Rose project was really successful. We will know this answer in a little while. But the lesson here is that in this parallel world, we see the YouTuber awake from sleep. He takes a shower while dancing. And Farhan then puts on his clothes and looks good. But suddenly he feels with a terrible headache in his brain. And not only that, he felt a strong earthquake in the place. But he did not care because his fiancée, Angela, called him. So he left everything in. He gave her his hand and replied to her. They kept talking a lot. And Angela now knew that she was very excited about their wedding that was going to happen tomorrow. Of course, he laughed and told her that he was also happy, but he said goodbye to her and hung up the call. After that, he calls his father and tells him that he feels that Angela knows the surprise that he was preparing for her tomorrow. His father replied to him, reassured him, and said it is impossible for him to know. He reassured him and asked him to behave normally and hung up the call with him because there was a curse on him in the store. The strange thing is that when he went out and didn't find any spam or anything, and he found his phone thrown on the ground, so he was surprised by that. But on the other hand, he was back. His company is All Save Company because, by the way, the chairman of the board of directors of the company in this parallel world is currently in a meeting with Evil Corp official. Willick and his assistants are now trying to convince him to work with them and let Olsif protect the company's servers. Folick is not very convinced by his words and is afraid that the best company, Evil Corp, will ruin the world when it collapses, for example. So why should they reassure him and let him know that he is a worker? A very great plan and a solution factor for all the problems that the company will face in front of you. I am surprised, but he agreed. But after he became a partner in I Corp, He went to celebrate with his father, and his father was happy, very much so. When you know that he has become your partner and is now giving him his surprise father Angela, which is a book signed by the writer, whom Angela loves very much. Villette thanks the father and takes the book from him. And Byrne then says, "I'm Gilla to make sure that Angela is not at home so that the surprise does not appear." But the strange thing is that when Ran was the one who opened the door for him, but when she heard his voice was immediately closed, so whoever was surprised by this talk, his father laughed normally, reassured him, and gave him money from the one who had it to buy flowers, for Angela laughed and took the money from him. He actually bought the flowers and went and put the gift and the flowers in a house. Angela walked away from Sukkot, took some of it, and went back home. When he entered his apartment, he saw a shocking sight, very much. He saw the other guy sitting on his device. Who is this guy? So we can find out who he is. The second night that suddenly appeared, we go back in time a little bit, specifically the time of the explosion after. The explosion immediately came to an end, and he found himself thrown on the ground in the middle of the street. So he got up like this, shocked because he is still alive, and shocked when he found that there is no reactor in Washington Township, and in his place is literally in a complete entertainment center. He is thinking and saying that almost his god waitress worked and moved him to another parallel world. So he takes some of it and walks in the street and notices that all the people are happy and the world is perfect. So the crowd is walking in the city to some extent. He found himself in front of his father's shop and was shocked because he knew that this shop was supposed to have been closed for 20 years when his father died. Out of curiosity, he enters the store and finds it empty. But his father is sitting inside talking to someone on the phone as soon as he sees him and hears his voice, and is terrified because my father is my friend. Don't forget that he is a harasser. But in general, Oct approaches the door and sees his father telling the person he is talking to on the phone that he will hang up because he is in SpongeBob because of his terror. He throws away the phone he had in his hand and runs away. His father comes out after that and doesn't find anyone. He finds his phone thrown on the ground, so he takes it. He called and went in to change his clothes, then closed the shop and left. At that moment, he was standing watching him from afar and kept walking behind him until he sees his father entering their old house. So he is surprised by that and wants to know if this is really their old house or not, so he stops a girl. This is from the street, so he can ask her. But as soon as this girl sees him, she knows him all the time and tells him where you were. You who look different. Why didn't he understand what she was saying and quickly hid when he saw his father coming out? And as soon as his father got in, Al-Arabiya walked and came back to talk to this girl again. And this time he asked her about his sister Darlene. So the girl was surprised by that and told him that he was supposed to. This means that he is alone and does not have a sister named Darlene. So she said in shock that he does not know how to respond and is in the middle. This shock is his mother coming out to call him. So he gathers all his courage and goes to her. And at that time he is afraid of her because his mother is the one he knows. She treated him very badly and also hit him. But this time the mother hugged him and was happy with him. She asks him to come into the house with her so she can prepare something for him to eat. Indeed, the one he comes into the house with, and at that moment he starts exploring the house, piece by piece, and he sees his pictures with his family and many very nice things like this. And therefore he is shocked because literally my friend finds that Dalam does not exist in the world. But this world is very perfect and everything in it is perfect. But he starts thinking if the past and the world really changed and his pig father here didn't harass him. In order to make sure of all this talk, he goes out to see the window itself, which means he has a past with him. As soon as he goes up to his room, he doesn't find him in the same place at all. So he is surprised and asks his mother where his room is. His mother takes him into his room and says, first, he doesn't go in and see a huge amount of prizes. So he sells and can't believe that he got all these prizes in. This scientist asks his mother later about the window accident, and his mother hugs him to calm him down because she does not understand what is wrong with him. And after that, she sits next to him asking her if she or his father had been upset before. She would have been very surprised by his question and told him that they were her age or not. His father did not hurt him. On the contrary, they love him very much. Cled is very happy and surprised when his mother answers now Angela's biography, and she knows that their wedding is tomorrow. So he will be even more shocked when he knows that she is already alive. So he takes her address from his mother and moves there and goes towards Angela's house. At that moment, he finds Hodge Philip opening the door for him. It is a shock that he does not open his mouth because he knows that he is Angela's father in general. And now he is entering with Angela's mother and father to the apartment and asking them about their daughter Angela. The mother told him that it was supposed to mean they will meet today for dinner, not now. Farid is very happy and even happier when he sees a large painting with his pictures on it, and Angela. And not only that, he sits and drinks a drink with them all while he is at the peak of happiness. Suddenly, something strange happened to my friend. Angela's mother's phone was ringing and the caller was the one standing there. Currently, you were supposed to be in front of them, so you are surprised and know what happened. So Valette is surprised by what happened. Now he starts thinking if there is a copy of him in this world. So he takes the phone and answers. At that moment, he hears his voice. In shock, he turns off the phone and then runs to his apartment to find the answers he is looking for. In order to find these answers, he turns on the computer to hack himself and now hacks all his social media accounts and notices. He is normal, like normal people. Lives and posts, normal pictures with his friends, etc. He prefers to see pictures for many hours now, until night falls and night falls. The idea is that he is sure that there is something hidden that is still among the things that he is working on. The many pictures that workers see until they reach a hidden part of the device. Of course, nothing with a password stands in front of him in general. So he opens this hidden part and finds several pictures in it. He sees pictures drawn of himself in the same dress, which he always wears, and a very nice picture of his sister Darlene, with a second picture of Romero. Mobley, Trenton, Army of Darkness, and Five Society. She said he doesn't understand anything. But in the middle of his freedom, the door opens and the original villa enters through it. This world, and thus we know, my friend, how he came here and what he did. And we linked everything together. Of course I linked it. Of course it linked it with me. If you don't connect everything, go back a little and watch what happened and come here. In general, we will continue just like we are now. When this guy from this world saw the girl in his house, he was terrified and took out his phone to inform the police. So he left. He picked up the phone and asked him to sit down to explain to him everything about this world. He refused and was going to leave Valette to make him trust him. He told him his date of birth and a lot of information that no one else knows. This world guy stopped and started talking to our guy again. At that moment, he became the first thing what he did was ask him about the drawings he saw in his hidden file. This scientist's elite sat in front of him and told him that at one time, his emptiness when he gets bored means he sits drawing and creating imaginary characters in his brain, like the person in this picture who is Abu Zabout. This is a person he has extraordinary abilities, but his extraordinary strength is his computer skill, nothing more than that. Walid, this scientist, designed this character to be an electronic security engineer who, in the morning and at night, hacks and searches for the justice that has been lost. He swallowed his saliva a little because this is literally his personality, my friend. Then he asked him about Darlene, and he said to him, this remains his partner in this entire hacking process, meaning his story, and he also told him that F Society, and all these names are names. It's ridiculous to invent it like F Society, an invention for the name of the hacker group that is also in his story. And by the way, what happened at that moment? Oh, my friend from this world begins to notice that the girl in front of him looks exactly like the character he is talking about. And he is literally wearing the same. The clothes are also ours, my friend. Now he asked him why he created this character. He replied, this guy from this world, and said to him, because sometimes I imagine that I am the one who asked him now if he wanted to stay with him. So he was shocked and told him no. Of course, because he is alone, has no life, and is not a normal human being like all of us, he said. Following his anger he spoke and got up to walk, and an earthquake occurred. And because of this earthquake, the head of this world was floundering at the edge of the table. He falls to the ground and keeps bleeding profusely. He decides to go get an ambulance. But before he goes out, he finds a phone. Elite Paran responds to him and hears Angela's voice thanking him now for the book, and she is very happy with it. He cries and tells her, I lost you. So you reassure him and tell him, I am by your side, you will not lose me, and you must come tomorrow for the sake of our wedding. And after the wedding we will stay. You have been together all your life, and you know that she is waiting for him impatiently for tomorrow. and then she hangs up the call after that. And the one who listens to the one from this world, he asks Elliot to help him and calls the ambulance. But he refuses because he does not want to lose Angela and wants to live in this world. The world that he has been looking for all his life and wants to live in, and in order to fulfill his wish, he is now going and suffocating his family. This world is getting rid of him so he can live his place here. But after all this talk, the hand goes away. Our person takes a shower and washes himself of the blood that was on him. After that, he puts the body of the hand in a carton. He starts preparing himself and puts on his suit to go and marry Angela. Meanwhile, Mr. Robot calls him and stays up late. He tells him that he is going to die of joy. He did not expect that his god White Rose would succeed and actually move them to a parallel world. So Mr. Robot shouted at him and quarreled with him because what he did and asked him to stop what he was doing. But those who were insulted and knew that he would not allow anyone to take it from him, the life he wished for. And he takes the carton containing the body of this scientist and goes down to put it in his car. But he doesn't catch up because the police always come and give him a ticket because he sees you in a wrong place. She notices that Elliot is very nervous. So she tries to see what is in the carton she has with her. Elliot refuses and tries to leave, but always. She noticed the blood coming out of the carton and immediately raised the weapon at the station and called support, hoping that at that moment it would come out running like this. The madman and the police cars keep running after him. But in the end, he is able to ride the metro and escape from them at that moment. Mr. Robot appeared. He had a second time and asked him to stop what he was doing. So he shouted at him and told him that he was getting married. Angela means he will marry Angela, and no one will be able to stop him. He also told him, "You and I are the same person. Why don't you want me to remain happy when you were?" She always tries to make me happy, and he cries and leaves now Mr. Robot and goes to sit in another car alone. After a while, he arrives at the station to the place where the wedding is taking place. He finds all the guests wearing F-Society masks, so he is surprised by this talk. But then Mr. A Robot appears to him again, and he knows that Angela will not come. He was also shocked and told him that this is not a world parallel like Waitrose's, and they knew that he was actually able to stop the god at the last moment. And all of this, it is an illusion, not just a world that he created in his mind, nothing more and nothing more. He just told him, this world is just a prison that you created yourself, so that you can control the real robot and take it from me at that time. Elite was shocked by all this talk and got upset and told Mr. Robot that he was the real Elite. Mr. Robot told him, "No, you and me," part of the character of the girl herself. And if she remained in control of him like this, the real girl would not be able to return, and he lives his life. And in order for me to explain everything to you, my friend, he is now Mr. Robot talking to a copy, a third one from Elite. And literally she is the one who made this whole world out of his hallucination. She wants to be able to live in a state of joy and peace for a while. But Mr. Robot does not want this because of the night. The real thing is the same. The original version. All of these versions do not know how to live. The important thing is that meanwhile Angela comes and runs after her like a madman. He forgets all of Mr. Robot's words and keeps running after her until he finds he was in Corny Island, and there Angela told him we wouldn't be able to get married because you weren't the one who came. The real thing is that you are the mastermind, and that's it. And you push him away from here until he starts hallucinating more and more and continues. He sees strange things, like a whole world, Mr. Robot, and another world in which he is buried. And the strange thing is that he now hears Darlene's voice and hears her asking him to get up. So he finds himself sitting in front of Krista in the office, and Krista. Now she told him that she was trying to get the truth to him, but he kept resisting. So he got upset by her words and started looking for Darlene. Krista told him that she is not here and that she exists in the real world. Not the world you are doing this and not that. And she only told him that the reason is that Darlene does not exist in the world that you created. Which is that Darn has a very good relationship with the real ballet. So because of the real 8, he was imprisoned. She didn't have to be in this world. After that, Krista started explaining everything to him and making him understand. She started with Mr. Robot and told him, "This is the first character I created to protect him. And its name is the Protector character that was created because it was in the place of his father, the garbage man who tried to hurt him when he was young. And then he created a second character, which is the character of his mother, whose name is the Executioner, and whose workers blame her every now and then in order to be subjected to harassment. You always hate him. And after a while, a third character appeared. If it was the character of the child who appeared so that Elite would know that he was resisting his father's harassment, he also showed him many things in order to prove it. He really resisted. He didn't just let himself go. And there was a character who laughed at all of us and appeared, without realizing it, throughout the past seasons. This is the character who appeared to protect the future of the real Elite character Rohit imprisoned the Indian, Lenny the traitor, and Vera the criminal. The character who created Eve Society. The character who wanted to save the whole world in order to save his true identity and transfer it to the rest of the world parallel to the point where she can save the world from White Rose, I-Corp, and this character Elite, which means Abu Zabut, the professional hacker who planned all of this from A to Z. And the name of this character is the Mastermind. This is the last character he created to endure his anger and help him finish this mission for the end and to become a superhero who protects people and saves the world. This character preferred to control the real Elite so much that he believed that he was the real Elite. It's not just a character like Mr. Robot. From here, my friend, we know everything, even in Arabic. So you can say that literally what is about many characters in each other. But what is not the same, he is aware of everything that is happening. But all these characters are trying to help him with something, Mr. Robot. He tries to protect him. He tries to make him a superhero, protect himself, and build a different future for himself, and many things like this. But in general, we are going back again now to Krista, who literally, after I learned about this version, rejected all of this talk. He regained real control and started to resist and told Krista, I won't give him back control again. I'm the one who deserves it. And that's it. After that, his mind is outwitted. And this time he is seriously outwitted and finds himself in a hospital. And here's the news that they have found Minister Jung's body next to the Washington Township reactor after a nuclear explosion was miraculously avoided. The mastermind at the time knew thus. He returned to the real world in which he was truly present. And at this time he took care of Dallin sitting next to him on the chair. So he called Fadali and was very happy that he agreed and went to hold his hand. He said, I wish the world had planned Musk. He supported her and asked her if he was really in the real world. And she said to him, yes. And she told him that he was able to stop the 1,000 at the last moment. But despite that, there was an explosion. But it was a small explosion. And because he was in White Rose's room, he was protected from the explosion. This did not happen because the room was already fortified. And after that, the police arrived at the site of the explosion and found White Rose's body destroyed. But when he heard this, he was very happy because he really saved the world and did his mission. Despite this, the mastermind felt guilty because he was the one in control now. Not the real one, so he called Darlene and told her he is not the real one. So Darlene shocked him and told him that she knows that you are not the real one. And she told him that she has known him for a long time, since the time he founded F Society, because she already knows her brother very well and knows his true personality, which unfortunately is a little weak. It is impossible for her to remain a superhero trying to answer justice, but she didn't say that to the mind. It was planned a long time ago that she wanted to spend time with him and see him do something different, because what happened? The real one doesn't sit with her at all, unlike Chia, the mastermind who used to share everything with her. Then Darlene cried and told him that she didn't. She was unable to live with the real him and did not know how to accept what the workers were going through. So she stayed away from him for a while, meaning when she returned, the mastermind was the one workers control the body of the elite, not the real elite. And that is why I still feel a sense of conscience, because it is not, she wasn't with her brother, and she cried now and asked the manager if the real thing was okay, and he said yes to her. He is fine, and he is currently in his own world that he wanted to be in for a long time with everything he needed. She kept crying and telling him that what happened, the truth is very bad, and she is getting up now to call the nurse. Now, my friend, it has become very difficult for the mind-managed copy machine. He told her before she left the room that he loved her. Then he went to sleep. And only the mastermind moved to the rest of the characters and decided he returns to his true lack of control and removes all the many copies that remain in his brain, but they will remain in a certain part of his brain, with all these characters present inside him, the living part, from him. And also because if he needs them at some point, they will help him, and that's it.
In the end, I came to the truth. He wakes up, my friend, and his eyes are full of tears when he sees Dalen in front of him.
The surprise is that Dalen recognizes him and says to him, "Welcome back, Lid. From here, my friend. We know that everything has been solved. Ephesus, I-Corp, the Army of Darkness, and everything else, all of them, even the many characters of Elite, have disappeared. Yes, they still exist in a part of his brain. Because if Elite, the truth is that he needs them, but they have disappeared, and now he is almost like a normal human being. Wafa, secondly, he may not remember anything that happened because his second copies were the ones that did everything in its place. But the important thing is everything is over and everything is back to normal. And thus the series ends. And what I know, my friend, is that it was very confusing and not very well understood. But I think I explained everything in a way it is somewhat appropriate. Thank you very much for completing this entire series. And we will meet, God willing, in a new series. And if you have different series, suggest them to us in the comments, and don't forget, my friend, the most important thing is that you write comment. Let us know that you have reached this point here, and like it nicely, and subscribe to the channel, and that's it. Speech.